I'ma be fine, need time and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it, didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Look at all the viewers we got for our Tuesday live.
Hey everyone.
It's like the old syndicated Simpsons when used to come on like Thursday back in the 90s. We got live from Colorado, Monica Martin, psychic healer, clairvoyant, Reiki artist, and bartender. I just found that out because I just found your Facebook 15 seconds before this started. So what's the temperature out there? Is it hot still?
It's been so hot out here. It's still hot. 80s still. Yeah. It's starting to cool off a little bit. Yeah. Getting there. But we still have another month.
Maryland. I'm going to Maryland in like September or something. And I'm like, what's the temperature in Maryland? I've never even thought about that. I guess it's
coastal, probably humid.
Mm-hmm. Everybody says eat the crabs. I'm like, okay. What was it? Well, I saw one of your topics, and we discussed this before about manifestation. And although we have several pictures you provided me with some cryptid research, and I got them all loaded here in the bank, ready to fire at any given moment, at a moment's notice. But I really want to talk about the manifestation thing because I think it's real. I don't know why it's real or how it's possibly real, but it is. And
definitely.
I don't know which version of it you subscribe to. I mean, I think it's all kind of the same, just different names. You got your Neville Goddard and the Dan Pena guy, and what's the other one? Law of assumption, law of attraction. You got affirmation, scripting.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. You had another guest on a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to that episode, and she mentioned Mel Robbins. And so I went out and I listened to that episode, and
that was me that mentioned it because I brought it.
Was that you? Okay.
Yeah, I found her.
Okay. I'm not sure if I listened to the right episode, but I found one. Yeah, I found one of her episodes on manifestation, and I really thought that was very synchronous because she talked about instead of thinking about the big giant picture, like everyone has big goals that they want to accomplish, but sometimes they're just so big that the universe really doesn't know where to start, right? Just like we don't know where to start, right? So she suggested break it down, kind of like when you're working on goals, find baby steps, right? So break down that manifestation into little bite-sized pieces. So I kind of took that as a little bit of wisdom, right? And I started doing that. And so I started manifesting abundance. Okay. And as soon as I did, I did a little meditation and kind of got into my space and did my thing. And then the next day I was on a hike, just walking my dog out here where I live in town. Looked down and I found a quarter. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Usually you find pennies, dimes, I found a quarter and I thought, and it was right in the middle of the path. And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. So I picked it up. And instead of going, whatever, it was a quarter, I said to myself, wow, I'm really grateful. That feels abundant to me. Okay. Fast forward 4 hours later, something happened to me bigger. Can't remember what it was. That was a little bit more good fortune. And instead of knocking it off and saying, oh, that's kind of weird, whatever, I said, wow, I feel really abundant with that. And I felt like the universe was listening to me. And then the next day, something even bigger happened. So this went on for a whole week. And every day I had something synchronous happen to me that was even more abundant than where I started with the quarter. And I thought, wow, that's really a good lesson. And it's continuing to happen every day. And this is still going on.
Really? Is it getting more and more as you go?
Yes, it is crazy. And part of it, I think, is, just flipping that mindset of being, finding the positive in it. Of course, that's something. But I think that it's also, I think it's the manifestation universe and that energy speaking to me. And reinforcing it and saying, oh, okay, we know you're listening now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When they realize you start paying attention, it starts getting more specific.
Yes.
And it's not just this over and over and over. You get one, you write it down. Like, what was that? That was kind of weird. And you write it down and you check it out like a sign or angel number, something like that. I get angel numbers a lot. Like they might as well just send me text. It's that frequent. But like you were saying, the if you wish for something big, I say wish. Like I want $1 billion, not let's say $1 million. I want $1 million. You can do that if you stay with it. But I think the reason it doesn't work is because you give up because the time frame it would take for all things to meld together I think it's too long. Like if you wish for $200,000, you can do that pretty quick if you put your mind to it and you're open to going different directions and taking little rabbit holes, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right about that. I think it's almost like a set of instructions. And who is it? What is it? Ezra Hicks. You dive down that rabbit hole. All the Ezra Hicks manifestation videos. They're interesting because it was a couple, right? That they basically channeled this information of this divine entity known as Ezra Hicks. And I know, I remember that. Yeah. Well, they're still out there, but and some of the videos are only like 15 minutes or whatever, but if you really listen to it, it's pretty deep wisdom. So it's kind of along that lines where you have to give the universe a set of instructions because let's face it, some of the big things that we want in life are pretty big, right? I want a new house. I want a new car. I want a new partner, whatever. Well, how, right? You know best how to manifest those things in your own life. So start being more specific about that.
It seems weird, but if the more specific you are, the quicker it is. It seems weird. It seems like you're like, well, you can't just wish for something. And I'm like, you better, because it's not going to happen. Otherwise you're going to get something random.
That's so true, right?
You're gonna get like the equal but lesser value, like a bean at McDonald's.
Yeah, remember the birthday cakes we all had when we were little? Like, oh, make a wish, And I don't know about you, but I always wish for something really big and great. It was never something like I need some new shoes.
I got shoes. That's what's so bad. You got shoes. You take those for granted,
right?
You got a whole continent. Nobody's got shoes. All of a sudden, you think you're good. You think you're good on shoes.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what you were saying about that. Because I always I don't start like molecular or granular, like at the bottom. I start at what I would think would be the edge of grandiose, just below it. Like say I was wanting like YouTube followers. I wouldn't start at I did start at 1,000 and got that pretty quick. And so I'm like, well, that was fast. And so now I'm thinking of like a couple 100,000, just the next step up, like bracket wise.
Right.
I should do 10,000. I think that would happen really quick. I kind of want the net. I kind of want the net to be spread just a little higher than that.
1,000 to 100,000 is a pretty big jump, but you could say 1,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
Right. Or 10,000, somewhat manageable.
That's what they recommend. Whatever you can make yourself believe is what you should do. Not just because you'll get there. You got to get that amount anyway. It's not like you're going to get 100,000 subs and not get 5,000 along the way.
Yeah. I think
they're coming.
You have to make, so for a manifestation to work, you have to really believe it. Right. It can't just be, I want a Lamborghini. Well, if you don't really believe you're going to get a Lamborghini, you're never going to get a Lamborghini, right? I mean, I don't really want a Lamborghini, but
no,
maybe there's someone out there that does, but I kind of want more of a camper van.
Are you manifesting one too?
Yeah.
Dude, I got one on my list. Hang on.
Well, so my son works on cars. So I told him the other day, he just finished up a project car. He's got another one he's working on. And I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to manifest that's the camper van.
Yeah, it's on my vision board.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, I want to have him build one out, just find a really cheap one. And I think he would really love doing it. And then
we can interrupt you there.
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, camper vans, that's more my style.
I love the ones you see that are like an old, I guess for like one of the like Chester the Molester vans that they gutted out, and now it's got like a little kitchenette and a living area in there.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and they like spray paint the sides with something cool,
like the old panel vans. I don't know what they're called exactly. Maybe somebody knows what they are.
The Mystery Machine is like my dream car.
Oh, the Scooby. Oh, you know what's funny is there's in Colorado, every once in a while, there's somebody that owns a Scooby-Doo mystery van.
Oh, really?
And every once in a while, it'll drive through our area. And I don't know where, I should look and see what the plates are, but it's painted just like the mystery van.
That'd be the one from Up. I don't know, but Onward. It's a new Disney movie with Jack Black, I think. And he's got a van in that I love.
Oh, okay.
It kind of reminds you of the one from The Walking Dead where they drove, not the RV, but the van they drove with the eagle inside.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the Oscar Mayer Wiener van? That one comes through Colorado all the time. I wonder if there's more than one.
I think there is.
The first time I saw it, I thought, okay, there's a hot dog on top of a van driving down the street. That's pretty cool.
Then you realize it was the van was the hot dog. And then your life changed. All of a sudden, you're the little boy from the Matrix, and like that's the secret. There is no wiener. We are all the wiener.
Or like, remember the Shag van from Dumb and Dumber? Remember they put fake fur all over it, and then they drove it to Aspen. That was filmed in Breckenridge, by the way. And I used to live in Breckenridge, and that was filmed in Breckenridge, Colorado.
Aspen.
Yeah. And what's even funnier is I used to work at this hotel in Breckenridge, and one of the guys that I worked with, he was a server also, and he was one of the extras in one of the scenes when they were filming it. I can't remember what year it was, but I worked there in it was like 90, I want to say like 96, 97. It was filmed a few years before that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I worked with one of the extras.
Dumb and Dumber, I think, is the funniest movie. I consider it the funniest movie ever made. I guess it's just from my age. Here's the Onward van.
It's a classic.
I love that. I think Jack Black voices one of the characters.
Oh, that's cool. I used to have a 1980 yellow VW Vanagon. You remember those? The Vanagons?
Vanagons or like the VW bus?
And it was it was a 1980. So in 1979, they stopped making the engine.
Oh yeah.
And they switched it over to a new engine, but they left. Oh no. Okay, I got that wrong. So all my car people out there. All right. So in 1980, they kept the 1979 engine inside a new model frame for the new 1980 van. Well, it was heavier. So the 1979 engine could never keep up with the weight of the 1980 shell. Basically, that thing had a top speed of, I swear, like 45 miles an hour going uphill. It was terrible. It blew smoke. I mean, everywhere I went, it blew black smoke out of the tailpipe. And what's even funnier is I used to do childcare, and I would pile all my kids, my daycare kids, in the van again, and we would like drive to the park, you know. Here comes this, we used to call it the banana van.
So no mosquitoes.
And
what about that?
We used to drive that thing up to Loveland Pass, which is at the top of one of the passes. It's between Summit County and Loveland Ski Resort. So we would drive the banana van up there, and people would backcountry ski up there. So you'd basically like drop them off. And people still do it. You drop them off at the top of the pass, and then you ski or snowboard down, and then you basically just take loops. So we would go up there on a full moon and snowboard down, and then we'd like pick hitchhikers back up in the banana van. And it was funny because people that we picked up were always like, "Is this thing going to make it up the hill?" Like, you wanted a free ride.
Do they still do that?
Yeah.
That would be like have a mobile podcast unit, and just all the hitchhikers get in and just have like a conversation and get to the top. That's how we do around here with kayaking. From the drop off point down to the bottom of the river, people like to hitch a ride with anybody. Just get on. Hold your kayak like that.
Get in the back of the truck.
Does your van have the? I've seen one of the guys at jiu-jitsu has one like you're talking about. I didn't realize that's what it was called. He's got the top raises up into a tent.
I think those are older models. So this thing was just the biggest piece of crap. It really was. And I finally, and you want to talk about synchronicities. This is really strange. So I was living in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I had that van again, right? And the thing was a piece of crap. I finally we were poor, young kids, we sold that thing for $1,000. I bought it for $800, sold it for $1,000. I figured, hey, okay. So fast forward a few years later, I ended up selling my house. The guy that bought my house I just got into this conversation with him. He was one of the buyers that bought that van, and he ended up living in that van for a whole winter while he was a ski bum. And then he came around and he was the buyer for my house. It was really a strange synchronicity.
You sold this guy 2 homes.
Yeah, it was really, and he wasn't even like the person that I sold it to originally, because I sold it to like, I think I traded it in at a dealership or something down in Denver. And then he like bought it after they fixed the engine or whatever and lived in it for an entire winter.
That is a crazy synchronicity.
It's really strange. I mean, it was, we were just sitting around talking with this guy, and he was, we were just shooting the shit, basically talking about living there and living in a ski town and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I lived in this van one year. And like, oh, really? That's kind of cool. What kind of van was it? And that's how and I was like, no way. That was my van.
Then you bought my house, bro.
Yeah. Really, really strange. That's just a very unlikely synchronicity.
Do you go when you do that manifestation, do you do like the robotic, affirmations, or do you do like a scripting?
As far as when I do manifestation, honestly, it's kind of a new thing for me. So what I have done in recent times is more just affirmation, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Right. And I think it works differently for different people, but what seems to work for me is I have to picture myself in that, kind of like you mentioned, you have a vision board, right? Well, it has to be believable, right? So I picture myself in a scenario, but it's not just enough to like picture yourself in the scenario. You have to feel the feelings. You have to smell it. You have to taste it. You have to hear it. You have to visualize and do like a meditation on how you feel in that energy.
Like I'm picturing the weight of the $100,000 silver arrow you get from YouTube, the play button.
Oh,
When I do that, I picture the weight of the play button and getting it out of the styrofoam, and how I feel like it's heavy, like a Ten Commandment.
oh yeah, yeah.
Just,
I didn't know is that like an award that they?
Yeah, if you get like 100,000, you get a silver play button. It's like as big as it's a plaque. It's got a play button on it.
Oh,
and
cool.
And if you get 1 million, you get a gold play button.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just picturing I'm picturing like the weight of taking it out of the box and taking a styrofoam off and holding it up. Hey, everybody, thanks for helping me out. You got me there.
Putting it on your bookshelf and like an altar.
the affirmation I see. This is the first thing I'm doing like right now, manifesting this podcast career. First thing I'm doing on purpose. I realized I was doing it correctly, but not on purpose before. Stuff was coming up like big. I'm like, what? Imagine if I actually tried.
Oh, right.
Imagine if I actually, just before, just anything I can do. I was visualizing it, just kind of daydreaming the same thing over and over. And I would, pray about the same thing over and over, and like being very specific, asking for very specific. And when I realized what I did, I'm like, man, I said, I don't have the power, but the power is there. So I'm going to do like specifically exactly what I want.
Right. It's interesting that you mentioned prayer, because prayer is a universal manifestation, right? And it's not specific to any one religious ideology. It's somewhat universal, right? So it's kind of it's definitely manifestation. It's kind of a mantra. And a mantra is really just the repeating of a prayer over and over again. Just I think it's Eastern vision of it.
Whatever you can make yourself believe, I think is the name of the game there. And everybody has different things. There's always like to take out a sheet of paper every morning and write this down. So you're doing the same thing. It's all the same.
That's a mantra, right? It's one is I am that, or there's so many. I learned to move off. I learned to move to present tense and not future tense. Right. That helps out. Where you are right now. Yeah. I was like, I will have. No, now I'm like, I am. But that's within the last 2 or 3 months too. I've seen, like I talked about the gentleman emailing or messaging me before the show that I hadn't talked to in a long time, just out of the thoughts in my head. I picked up this thing that he gave me like a year ago, and all of a sudden he messages me for basically an opportunity, but a chance to do something that's kind of unique in the field of paranormal. John P. Adventure says, hello, Monica. Hello, John P. He's in Portugal. Oh, cool. It's like 2:00 in the morning over there for him. What are you doing up so late? He's always, hey, if you go live, JP's there. They never sleep. Got that European, everyone starts late in Europe. They eat dinner late, take a siesta afternoon nap, which is kind of nice. Because they don't have AC. They have to do stuff late at night. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not going outside. It's basically like that in Alabama, but nobody talks about it. Yeah. Like we ain't doing nothing. It's hot. It's hot there. My brother lives in Georgia. My son's in North Carolina. Like it's just, I love that part of the country. I really do. It's beautiful. But it's hot. But it's great in the winter, right? For the most part. Oh, he says siesta in Spain. You do something like that in Portugal, though. It's the same place. Spain and Portugal are the same. They're the same little island. Is it? Yeah, I wonder if it's the same. Gibraltar. Winters. Oh, we said winters are very rainy. Yeah, cool. What's funny is when you do these things, like we've been going like 20 minutes.
it'll sit it'll sit at this range like we're at now for a while, and all of a sudden it'll kick up for no reason. And this is just typical. I mean, typical, but it's like, why is nobody here? And all of a sudden, here they come when the browse feature hits.
Got it.
Especially didn't advertise at all.
Yeah, I threw it on my Facebook.
We're doing it live.
That's okay.
Fun.
I sent it to my kids, so I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be on here.
Maybe.
Yeah, I knew when I saw the topics. I'm like, I can do this. I can just talk this out, kind of in a selfish manner, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, what other things are you manifesting?
Right now, just podcasting as a career, or some kind of media, and probably some weight loss, which is actually working out. I'm about 2 pounds away from that goal. I'm doing that 10 pounds at a time.
Manageable.
I'm not really saying that. Since I believe it, I kind of just say it like whenever I weigh, like every couple of days, I just say, okay, I'm that weight. I'm getting closer. I mean, that's not going to be a problem to do. When I start getting lower, it starts slowing down. That's when it's going to be a problem. Yeah.
Well, I think that journey is definitely challenging for everyone. And just saying, I think that's really great, really smart. I am this, so I am this number, whatever that means. Yeah.
And then when you hit it, you're like, well, I'm there.
Right. Yeah. And that becomes really motivating too, because that's such a hard journey regardless. And then if you do see progress little by little, that kind of reinforces it, and it makes it easier to just stay on the path.
It's awful as you get older too.
Oh yeah.
I lost 70 or 80 pounds when I was 33, 34 years old. And I'm 41 now. And over the pandemic, I gradually gained it all back. And it would not come off at the same speed. Like, this was so easy the first time.
Yeah, aging, it throws another layer.
I don't get it. It's cruel is what it is. Like, doesn't make any sense. None of this stuff works anymore. I'm just having to like starve myself to death. But if I starve too much, I gain weight. How does that work? Like you gain 3 pounds. You didn't eat it.
Your body goes into crisis and hangs on to everything. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't starve. I don't starve myself.
Yeah.
I make sure to eat till I'm satiated and I quit.
Yeah, it's just a mindset, being aware. It's a lot of it's awareness, I think, too. And movement also, the physical activity part is, and movement. I don't like saying the word exercise because it becomes really, it's kind of a loaded word, but if you say the word movement, then that can be so many things, right?
Sounds like exercise sounds like a chore. No one wants to do it.
It does. Yeah.
You say movement, that could be cleaning the house.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. Gardening is movement. Walking your dog is movement. I always say my dog is my best motivating factor for movement. On the days when I don't feel like going to the gym, like I always walk my dog, or we would go for a little hike, and I always feel better afterward.
Oh yeah. I go to like kickboxing and jiu-jitsu some. We do a lot of hikes. And I always never want to do any of it before it starts. And at the end, I'm like, I want to do this all the time.
Right.
I want to go right back out. That anxiety, it oozes out after it gets through.
Jiu-jitsu, that sounds really cool.
Yeah,
so you have a local place?
Yeah, I mean, Huntsville, Alabama is like the Austin, Texas of the South, or of Alabama.
Okay.
It's probably comparable loosely to like how Denver is. Not as crunchy, obviously. But as far as the variations, like the food and the food trucks and the festivals, but because people move here from God knows where, like nobody here's from Huntsville except for like me, and like 10 other dudes.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of nice because you got all the fun of like a multicultural hub. It's still, you drive 10 minutes, you're in a small town. You're not right. It's not widespread like Chicago, like.
And the music is pretty good there too, right?
Yeah, they're getting better. I mean, Birmingham was the big music place in Alabama for ages, and I think the word is out that Huntsville will come to, because Bert Kreischer, he did a comedies tour here in our new amphitheater, and he said it's one of the best ones he's ever been to. He even flew back to see Widespread Panic.
Oh wow!
It was a fun concert. Jelly Roll came, Bert Kreischer was here.
He's funny.
Yeah, so it's growing.
He's so funny. The Machine.
The Machine. He told that story that when he came here, and it took an hour to tell. Like he
does. Yeah,
it was so off the. I've seen him tell it live, I think 3 times, and that was like, I was like, is it ever going to end? I know the ending, but you're not even close.
I think he embellishes it a little bit each time.
Mm-hmm.
It gets bigger.
He definitely does. I love it. Fuck that bitch. She's in Russia.
I love that guy. He has a movie out too. Have you seen that?
The Machine movie?
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. It's called The Machine.
You know what? I thought he was also on this other. He had a collaboration with another comedian, and oh yeah, who was that? I don't know what I'm thinking. What's the Machine movie? Because no, I know what you're talking about. There was another thing that he collaborated on. He went on like it was like a man weekend.
The Cabin?
The Cabin, yes.
Yeah. Where they all came to his cabin.
Yes, that was just so wrong on so many levels, but so funny.
God, that was funny. Miss Pat got off in them waiters and fell in the creek. Get me out of here, butt crazy, you stuff. And Fortune Feimster showed up, that big old tall girl. And Bert was in the bathroom shaving his butt. And she walks in and, oh my God, Bert.
Yes. And who? What's her name? Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, that's right. And his dad talked to him on the phone.
That's right.
And she started crying.
Oh, that's right. And he was back when Caitlyn was Bruce.
Yeah.
He was just such an icon. And he thought, it's my dream someday to be able to talk to them and to, just be a part of sports history. And so that was just a really cool conversation. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and everybody started crying.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
Kaylee Kuko and Miss Pat. She's like, I've never heard of your show. I don't know who you are, you little girl. We met Fortune Feimster here in Huntsville, and my wife wanted to ask her what Bert's butt looked like. She never could get close enough to ask her.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you were not going to ask Fortune Feimster.
No.
She's going to be good too. Yeah, the comedy scene. I did this podcast for a while, and I'd have comedians on here.
Oh.
Before I steered toward a more of a high strangeness based thing. Because I want to talk to comedians just as much as anybody. They're like my favorite genre of music. And so I don't know how I'm going to loop them back in. If I ever get successful here, I'm going to start a comedy only podcast, like a separate show.
Well, it's interesting. I think many people, regardless of what field they're in, have had encounters. And I think it would be really interesting to go back and talk to some of those people, the comedians, and have them share their stories. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, that's one thing I thought about, because a lot, like you said, a lot have. And even one of the ones I had on, he's a lesser known comedian from the Pittsburgh area, somewhere in Pennsylvania, I think Pittsburgh. But he had like dealings with the Illuminati, with like the people that tried to snuff out Dave Chappelle. Like, he had dealings with that kind of thing. And he sent me a voice memo on Facebook Messenger, just talking into it, and told the whole story to him. Like, man, what the hell? Why is this not on my show right now? I said, I will leave work if you will tell me that.
Right.
So we'll go live. But he told me the whole thing about Eddie Griffin and Dave Chappelle is a clone, and it's like, what?
Whoa, I don't know that story, but is that on another streaming?
This was him telling me live from the horse's mouth.
Oh, okay.
But if you look it up, it's out there. It's not
okay.
You're not hearing the Dave Chappelle's a clone right here at the on the Caffeinated Cryptid on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday, just bring. But he knows Eddie Griffith personally. The comedian. And so Eddie Griffin told him like what he saw. He goes, "This ain't the same guy," and yada yada yada.
Wow.
Like, anytime you try to get close to Dave, they shuffle him away. I have to go back in and look at it, but it's crazy. And then, like, he was talking about seeing his dead grandfather. A lot of them have experiences.
You're gonna have to relink that now, for sure. Let's put a link to that in the notes on this. Just
Oh yeah.
that's really fascinating. Yeah, I think that so many, it's interesting. Here's a topic. So I think this stuff, and I struggle to find a category to call all of these things because I think that they are so interwoven together. But I think Fortean or metaphysical might be kind of a way to categorize it, all of this stuff. But I think that there are definitely connections to all of it. And whether it's spirituality, metaphysical studies, personal growth, philosophy, as well as physical encounters and all the research that goes into this, I think there's definitely, it's all connected somehow. And how can we not have, so prior to me, I sent you that spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, I got it right here.
I love the spreadsheets. It's just such a great way to categorize stuff. But you go onto YouTube and you're like, okay, search this and put this together, and not less than 500 links come up. And that's just one search query. So there's definitely something going on that enough people nowadays want to speak out and use their voice and say, hey, I'm having this experience, or I had this experience. And they feel safe enough now. And there's enough platforms like YouTube or whatever, or podcasts, that they can go on and they can share their story. Because this is kind of what I have noticed by listening to some major pod players, hosts, is that there's a lot of trauma around some of these experiences. And I mean, you just listen to like Sasquatch Chronicles and some of his guests that come on, some of Wes's guests that come on, they are traumatized.
Yeah.
And they clearly had an experience. And the only way that they can get it out is to talk to a podcast host in a safe place, because everyone else makes fun of them, rolls their eyes. They're not, and so they clam up and they stop talking about it. And then that's such a tragedy, because clearly something happened. These people are not making this stuff up. These experiences are happening. And I think they're happening more and more frequently, at least in the US, and I'm certain probably worldwide. And everyone has a computer and a video camera and a camera in their pocket. Everybody. And not only that, a lot of us have Ring cameras and Blink cameras on our front doors. People are catching all kinds of stuff. You're living out in the sticks and you're seeing all this stuff.
And it still comes past as a blur too. That's the crazy part. It still does it, no matter what.
Yeah. And that's another thing, is the blob squatch. Like, why can't we just get a clear picture? Like, what's going on with that? Because we can have these cameras in our pockets and we can document tragedies in the streets, right? And terrible things happening in our culture. And we can put those on the news and they're clear as day. So why these people are clearly having experiences, why can't we get clear resolution? And I
think that's why they wanted to ban TikTok. It's because we were getting too many answers that weren't filtered through the media. I think that's part of the problem with TikTok.
Maybe.
As far as trauma goes, I just had a PTSD guy from Iraq on like 2 weeks ago for that very reason, because every time I talked to a not so much Sasquatch, they just weren't secretive because they got tired of getting called liars. But the alien abductees I always had trauma. It was like repressed. They would start freaking. Some of them cried. So I stopped having them on. I can't have abductees on all the time. It's depressing.
They're all traumatized.
The story goes from interesting to like, I'm exploiting this person at this point.
Right.
And so I had the PTSD. A guy from Iraq had PTSD from saving his buddies from rubble after a mortar attack, and just kind of like a workshop on it. Stuff's real. They just laugh at it. Oh, alien abductee. Well, somebody experienced something. They're not.
Well, and there might be. I never want to like say anything about anyone's experience, because that's their own. And I'm sure that there are some that are mental health issues. I'm sure there are some that are, you know, childhood trauma. And this is a way to cover up the trauma so that they can manage it themselves, you know, like.
That's why I stopped talking to them, because that's all, most of it was childhood trauma. I said, I'm exploiting these people.
Right. And I think that that's possible too. But I think that still leaves a percentage of experiences that we just can't explain.
And I noticed the ones that weren't, it's not 100% across the board, like you said. I noticed the ones that weren't acting traumatized were kind of happy about it. Like David Blaylock, I don't know if he's listening or not, but he said when he had his experience, he wanted them to come back. He goes, that was kind of a good time. Because, I mean, you got to experience once in a lifetime, you know, in a spaceship. And because I thought it was kind of cool. I wanted them to come back for years.
I mean, who knows?
You got people like Travis, Calvin Parker down in Mississippi that still talked about it until his deathbed. The Pascagoula guy.
That's crazy. I mean, well, and then you have like the CE5 group who, as a collective, has branched out and, you know, from Stephen Greer's work, and he gets a lot of flack for stuff. And we won't. I mean, whatever. Anytime you're out in the fray like that, you're gonna have haters for sure. And who knows? You know, I don't know the guy. I just know the content. Do I agree with the fact that he's monetizing and stuff? No. But on the flip side of that, I think that all of that stuff costs a lot of money too. He just had an interview up, and I was going to link this interview. I can't find it now, but he just had an interview up. It was just released I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. And he said the cost of having all the data points up for disclosure was running them I think it was like over $2,000 a month, because it's such a huge data set that they have to pay for it. Right. So he's basically he and his team are going around the government because they're tired of waiting for the government to disclose. And quite frankly, they're probably never going to disclose anything because it's the government, right?
No, they don't have to.
No, they don't have to. And so he and his team have decided to, on their own, release this massive data set of experiences from all these, incredibly vetted professionals. And just the cost for the website alone is astronomical. So that kind of support, I mean, he's got to pay for it somehow. What is he going to do? Pay for it out of his pocket? No, he's got to have a source of income because he is a nonprofit. So I don't know.
Have you ever done CE5s like yourself out there in Colorado?
So it's interesting because when we first talked, so I tried to join there's a group in Denver. There's groups all over the United States, right, that you can join. And it doesn't seem to be an active group, so I can't really get on board with it. But if anyone's interested, you can get the protocols just online through Serious Disclosure. There's an app, but which supposedly has like all the meditations and the sounds and all that and the instructions for CE5. However, I've heard that the app is kind of crappy. So I think it's just as easy to get the information free. The information's free anywhere. Just Google it. And then the meditations, it's basically just a geolocation meditation where you do a meditation and then you basically just tell where you are. Like, I'm here. I'm in Colorado. I'm in my backyard on my lawn chair. And then you basically expand out into the universe. I'm on Earth. And so basically that it's just a geolocation meditation. And so I've tried it. Nothing's happened, but I've heard that it's better in a group.
Yeah, that's why he does it in those big groups, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where you definitely want to raise the energy in a group. I'm sure it's possible to do it on your own. But there's also, I was going to mention this, there is a podcast out there that I definitely want to mention. And I'm going to look it up right now because he has a whole series on CE5. It's 21 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to plug him right now. Give me a second to find it.
I got the CE5s to work in my backyard twice. Just by
myself. You
have?
Okay.
Yeah. And first time I was like, wow, that happened.
So what'd you see?
I saw a light flash. It's like basically they flashed their lights at me.
Oh, okay.
And it came through it like an angle, like you would do like a smiley face. But it was like a light that did that. And it wasn't, it was clearly not a shooting star. And I was like, oh, okay, that's real now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I've been outside during meteor showers because I like to do things like that. And it didn't look like that. It was it was slightly bigger than a typical meteor shower and quicker, and just a flash, it's kind of like a state trooper when you're going too fast. They flash their blue lights at you. I was just going, hey guys, give me a sign. Hey guys, give me a sign. I'm just out messing around to clear my mind. Nothing, no meditation, but they just did that. And then a couple of weeks ago, I did it, like a month ago, and I was like asking for something to appear again, and what I think was an owl swooped at me out of nowhere.
Owls. Oh yeah.
You get the reference point there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear anything. I just saw what scared me, like something black. And I heard like the air, and it disappeared like into the trees, which I'm like, wow, okay. I made an owl happen.
Yeah. And Mike Cleland, right? Mike Cleland.
Yeah. That's why I thought that. I was like, well.
Yeah. Owls and synchronicity. Yeah, exactly. I've had so many owl synchronicities in my life. It's just, they keep happening. And I'm wearing an owl. I wear this owl every day. I've had a lot of owl synchronicities, and they keep, it's crazy.
My t-shirt has an owl on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Your intro.
That was from a guy talking about hearing, owls going nuts, and all of a sudden they start throwing rocks at him.
Which episode was that?
Because I think it was Leroy Nail, Indiana Bigfoot.
Okay, Indiana.
Yeah, Leroy Nail was it, and he said, "Well, only difference is barred owls don't typically throw rocks." And I cut that quick. I cut that out quick.
So I have this podcast, and I'm gonna show this on screen. Hopefully, it won't start playing. It's called CE5 Podcast, is what it is, and it looks like this. If anyone, this way. That's the cover art, but it is. I'm trying to look at this guy's name, and he does a really well. It's a very well done podcast.
What's that like?
His name is right. Well done, bud.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Yeah.
Must be nice to be out of your mom's basement.
I stopped editing this season. I'm just putting it up. I don't have time to edit all this stuff. I was doing editing like both speakers, both audio files, and then I'm not doing this. If somebody farts on my podcast, it's going on. I
only edit the first 30 minutes. Don't tell anyone, because I know my statistics.
Yeah.
If they made it that far, they don't care what the rest of it sounds like. They're going to keep going.
Oh,
I just got to get them in the door.
I don't even know if I have the ability to see how long they listen to the episodes. I don't even know if my statistics come through like that.
It's in there somewhere. I guarantee you.
I can look at countries, and this is funny. I've told my mom about my podcast like a million times, and I can tell she's never listened to it because I know I can look by. Oh no, I think she downloaded one episode because I can see which town. You aren't listening to my podcast.
Drilling down into it. I'm getting Riverside after very soon. Like I've got a bunch of episodes in the bank right now, and I'm kind of going to ride those out while I make a couple of plans. I think I'm getting Riverside and Premiere. I'm going to ramp up my production a little bit. I'm going to ride out these old episodes, so I'm not like putting out good content. All of a sudden, here's me just in standard definition 3 weeks in, like, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that doing on here? 10-year-old episode with lots of gaps in it.
I'm still using Zoom. It works fine. It's easy.
It does.
And they've upgraded the audio quality now, so it's a little bit better. I did have that's a little bit better. I use Podcastle for editing just because I already paid for it, and it's I like it because it's drag and drop for the files. And I was recording on that, and it's terrible for recording. So I just went back to Zoom, and I use RSS feed for my host, and it works for me right now. So, but my goal is to get 100 episodes, so I'm working on that, and well, I figure once I do that, then we'll see.
I never had a problem with Zoom other than the live portion. I wanted to have the option of a little production value. But when I was just recording podcasts and putting them in there and cutting them up, doing things just in the editor, it was fine. It worked fine. HD quality. They've got the top-notch stuff because they had to rebuild their entire infrastructure in like 7 weeks.
Right. During the pandemic.
They've got new stuff.
We got to make this work. Everybody needs us for meetings, and don't forget to wear pants. There
will be doctoral theses in the future written about the rise of Zoom during COVID.
Oh, probably.
And what the hell? How did Skype drop the ball? I mean, the CEO of Skype is just punching air. Just like, how did we do it?
Skype was never that good.
But they had it. They had to monopolize. All of a sudden, Zoom just zoomed past them.
I think they went down when WhatsApp started being used more, and that's used more in Europe than it is here. I think all the Europeans use WhatsApp, but it was basically the same thing, but it was just free, right? And Skype was charging, and I think they just tanked. I don't know. I'm sure. And then like all the other ones grew, like Microsoft Teams and Google Meet, and then Zoom jumped on, and
Teams rules the roost right now. I use it all day. I use it all day, every day, whether I like it or not.
Oh, for work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hate Teams.
That's what everyone says, that they hate.
They somehow channeled the most passive aggressive ringtone in the history of the planet and made it in there. Like, how did you do that? That's the worst sound on earth. Like, it's so like, hey, here I am. You can't ignore me. Hey, here I am. You can't ignore me.
Oh, no.
I mute people. I make them call me on the phone and then tell me to get on Teams. Like, we're not doing this. You're not busting into my podcast listening with your Teams recorder.
Oh, no.
So let's talk about your Bigfoot research here on these pictures.
Yeah. So
try to land the plane and talk about some Bigfoot, and then I'm about out of coffee anyway, so
yeah,
make it happen.
Right. So I guess I should pull these up because I sent them to you. Yeah,
I don't have it in any order, by the way.
I don't. Yeah, and I gotta pull them up. So hold on. Let's
dog barking.
Okay, I'm not gonna look at the. All right, here we go. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry.
It's a folded over tree.
All right, so let's do the ones most recently, which would have been the ones here in Colorado. That would have been the one that says White River National Forest. And this is funny because when I took these pictures, I was out walking my dog, just kind of going up a dirt road hiking, and I made a video. And while I was making this video, I saw a bear. And at the end of the video, I was like, oh, shit. So I had to, I mean, it just scared the crap out of me. And what was scary is my dog she didn't alert me that there was a bear right there. And oh my gosh, it was so frightening. But anyway, I'm fine, obviously. But carry bear spray when you're out doing this stuff and make noise, because I was looking at this tree structure that I found. And I was so engrossed in trying. So what this stuff is that you have to like look at it and spend some time looking at it and see if it's natural, because like in Colorado, we have so much snowfall here. and avalanches and mud and muck. And we get a lot of deadfall because some of these, like all the evergreen trees they're actually pretty brittle. So they break apart really easily in the snow. So when you find what you think is one, I'd say maybe 70% of the time it's natural. So it takes a few minutes for you to look at it and go, it's kind of like looking at a puzzle, right? And so when you do find one, then you have to like look at it just a little bit more. And then you're like, oh no, that's not natural, right? So it's kind of, I'm getting a little bit better at it, but I'm still pretty new to this. And there are people out there that they go hiking out. And I sent you some videos on YouTube that I found. There's a couple of guys that go out there and I know they're not far from me, and they are finding some unbelievable structures. I mean, it's just like, there's no way this is not natural, right? So on the one email that I sent you, the White River National Forest ones, I'm going to open up. Let's see.
You can tell which ones they are because they're grayer.
Yeah, the resolution is a little bit. It was.
Well, it's got that. They just got like that Colorado look to them, rather than the deep green.
Oh yeah, and the Eno River it's so green. All right, I'm going to pull this up. I don't know if you're going to show. Do you want to show your screen on some of these?
I've got them overlaid right here.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at them on my screen, so I can't see.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think. I just wanted to zoom in. Okay, maybe I should just look at your screen.
I could. I got them. I got them on another one here. Let's see what we got. Here's the big one.
Okay. Okay, so that one. So I have two different areas here in Colorado. So that one, I don't know if you can zoom in, but it's broken, and it's laying on top of something else. And see how, see that? Actually, go to the next one.
So which one?
Sorry, I should have looked at these ahead of time.
It's like we're in a college class now.
I know. Okay,
my next slide.
Okay, class.
The next slide. That one may not have pulled over. Let me see if I can share it. Yeah, this is. There we go. Get out. There we go.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you can zoom in or not, but so that big main one right there with the fork on the end, and you look underneath it, and it's being supported by another branch on the bottom. And what I've found is that when I'm out hiking or just scouting or whatever, you see that fork it's supporting right there. So what I found is when you're out looking, and this is for anyone that's interested in doing this, is get out, just get out in nature, get out in the woods or whatever, and start looking like a bird's eye view. Don't focus on the details, but start looking for patterns, right? And you will start seeing the patterns, and think of like the major sticks or the logs or whatever, you'll start seeing patterns. And then when you see something that's suspect, go up to it and take a look at it and investigate it, and obviously try to rule it out as natural, because I mean, that's part of it, right? You have to have a discerning look to this, but you will find, and I just don't have any explanation for this. Go see if you can scroll forward, but you'll start to see, and there will be like one or two main ones that are propped up, and then also look at the kind of the weathering on the tree, because sometimes you'll see one that's really, really old, that's been on the ground, and all the bark will be stripped off, by bugs and animals and just weathering and stuff. And that one will be sitting on top of a fresh one. Well, how did it get up there? If it was a naturally fallen tree, from snowfall or wind or whatever, and then you can see like on the bottom part of it where it was sitting on and that's the thing, is like looking and seeing on the bottom where it was clearly on the ground, because it'll have watermarks, it'll have moss growing, and you can see where it has had contact with the earth, and then something lifted it up.
Yeah, that's on top of that. Look at there.
Yeah. It's really strange. Okay, let's go to the next one. And the ones in the Eno River, just, I mean, we can skip ahead to that one too. The ones in the Eno are just unbelievable.
There's a smaller one there. It's this one.
I think that was just showing the weather pattern.
I can open them and find them pretty quick once I see their numbers.
I'm gonna pull this up on my. Oh yeah, look at that. Crossed over. There's an X. And you'll see things like that. You'll see crosses, you'll see like teepee type structures, you'll see like it's just weird.
Oh, Poncho's on.
Poncho.
Hey, Poncho.
Weather pattern, I see grass.
Of course you do. You got to open your mind, man. You can't be named Poncho with a closed mind.
Poncho.
What are you, in a Merle Haggard song?
Okay, go to the next one.
Where are we at? Got them all mixed up here.
Yeah.
Poncho screwed me up. Get out of here, Poncho. Stay, Poncho. I'm talking about get off the screen. I'm talking to you.
Wish I could make the screen bigger. Oh, I can make it bigger. Oh, there we go. I can make it bigger. That one's not as clear.
Hey, I'll encourage any behavior. I don't care if a fight starts in the chat. I've had it happen before.
You know what's really funny is this is like right before I saw the bear. When I was taking this picture, I was literally making a video. I took a few pictures, and then I was making a video, and then I was talking to myself, and I turned around. I'm like, and you can hear me on the video. I'm like, oh shit, there's a bear right there.
Was it a grizzly?
No, we just had
a black bear.
We just have black bears, yeah. Although now we have wolves in Colorado now. And I just saw a video not too long ago. They found a guy filmed 3 wolf pups. I don't know how. I think it was in Summit County. I just saw the video today. 3 wolf pups. They were playing in a puddle in the middle of the road. So that's kind of cool.
I like wolves, but they're kind of scary.
They are scary, and it makes me really scared to hike with my dog because, I mean, they're wolves, right? Especially with a mama wolf.
I feel like they don't. I feel like they kind of like to hunt for fun.
And
food.
The
last one, next to last. Well, yeah, for food, obviously.
Let's go to the Eno River ones.
I got that.
Okay, let me minimize that because these are okay. Let me see. How about? Just start with Eno 1. And these are, I apologize, these are not in the greatest of order. So we'll just
the background Sasquatch arm. Is my AI not good enough for you? I usually have a boring tree thing back there, but this is going to be this is like an over the top live show we're doing. Here, I'll put a scary alien.
Oh, there you go.
Or a very,
oh my goodness.
A very wizened Sasquatch.
That looks like my uncle.
All right, come on.
Oh, Poncho says I've seen tree scratches in the 10 to 12 foot range. All right. Keep going.
Tree scratches.
Okay. Oh, this one you can see the loops. You see the hoops?
Yeah, in the middle there.
Okay, the arches. So we walked into this one area, and that's what I meant about like looking for the patterns when you walk into an area, because I looked around and I was surrounded by a cathedral of loops. It was really creepy. Go to the next one.
Cathedral of loops.
Yep, they bent them around and they made a giant circle of loops. And
Poncho said his uncle didn't believe me.
A couple of loops right there.
You know, it's kind of weird when people like. I say weird. Don't believe in some things, but the stories you hear from people who are not lying, they're like, well, those two can't exist in the same universe. Like somebody's not telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. Can you pull up the next one?
Yeah, I'm doing it manually.
Oh, okay.
Share screen.
Okay, here we go.
Some loops there.
This is an X. See that loop, and then there's a.
See, that's those are kind of intriguing when it comes to looking at stuff like, because I know how it happens. I was on the forestry team.
Oh, okay.
But it's just weird to see when one doesn't have the what you would call like the anchor tree, and it's just down like tied.
Mhm.
Like why is it doing that? Because sometimes they have the anchor when someone falls and holds it down, obviously. But
I've got a couple pictures in here that it's a whole puzzle put together.
See if we can find it.
Yeah, I don't remember which email it was. You know what? I'll look on my phone.
Let's see. This is quality radio here. You can't get this anywhere else.
That's right. We're looking at pictures, guys.
That's half the fun of lives, though, because they can go anywhere. Like we're an hour in. Like this doesn't have to be like I'm looking at them too. Like this is where the on like a Thursday or a Sunday, like the comments would be popping.
Right.
I usually have a.
Oh, here we go. Look at email. Oh, you already looked at that one. No, we looked at that one. Let's go to email 3. Let's see. I know
we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Poncho.
Oh, okay. Go to email 3.
All the federales say. Is it Eno 3?
Yeah.
And
then there's one that's a stack. It looks like this.
Oh, here we go.
And then there's one. There's a bunch of good ones in there. And the first one is, you can see they're propped together. There's a stack.
I should just done this to begin with. Trying to be fancy. I got arrows now. I can just.
Oh, there you go. And then look at this one. See if you can blow that one up. That's a prop right there. See how
I can blow it up.
Oh, there you go.
Oh wow, that has like the 2 points of holding down.
And then if you look down at the bottom, you can see one of them got stepped on. If you
just ignore salty dog. Come on.
Okay, see at the bottom.
Not the same show.
See at the bottom where that is bent. If you look down at the bottom, that one was bent and propped up in the middle of that teepee like thing. See that where it's bent and it's propped up right there.
Yes.
It was bent and lifted. See that?
Like it's got tension on it.
Crazy. All right. And then if you go to the one that looks like this, oops.
Is that it? That's it.
Yeah. If you can zoom in on that one. See that main one is bent and then another one's woven underneath it. I think that
But I was looking at the thumbnails. I thought it was like a blob squatch on one of these.
Oh yeah. I wish.
For a second.
I wish I'd gotten a blob squatch someday. That's where you got to go on these excursions. All right. And then going to email 4. Let's see.
Remember the one time I thought I was about to have like a legit Sasquatch encounter.
Oh yeah.
And I had to like mentally prepare. And I was actually like, I mean, this is real. This is happening. And it turned out to be my whiskers on my toboggan as I breathed.
Oh my gosh.
I had my toboggan down over here because I was trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was breathing and it was shh on the side of my face.
Oh, you thought it was like outside.
And it sounded like footsteps because I heard shh and I woke up. I was like, and it was 3:33 in the morning. So that didn't help. And I was at a hotbed in a southern state. 22 degrees outside.
Okay, let's see. What was this one?
There we go.
Go to the that one. Look at that one. If you look up at the top, you see how they're it's so crazy how they're just interwoven. It's like, where does it begin and where does it end? You really have to spend some time. Like, it's hard to get a picture.
Yeah, Salty Dog, and he kept giving everybody possum hair as a DNA sample.
A rubber squatch in a freezer. Oh,
remember from like 20 years ago?
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah.
There was one where they had it in the freezer and they showed you the thing and it was covered in ice. And there was one
that was Iceman.
There was one that was like this giant head. And it was actually a comedian.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah, that's
number 5.
You know how you can tell if a Bigfoot picture is fake is if there's a Bigfoot in it.
Oh, I got a funny one coming up here on 5. Okay, on email 5. This one's a really good one. See that right there? It's a broken off log, and the other one's lifted on top of that.
Yep.
And all of these, they're broken. They're not cut with a chainsaw. Like, none of them are human cut. And then if you go to the next picture, this is kind of funny. It's just a metal cutout. I just thought that was fun.
I've got a 2-foot one of those in my garden.
Yeah.
Crepe myrtle covered it up.
I definitely have to get one. This was
wrapped in Christmas lights.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm doing for Christmas. And then the next one, this one's really interesting. Let's see. Oh yeah, see that one? Just a lot of propping on these. Yeah, if you zoom out on that a little bit. This one's interesting because it's broken on the end, weathered, old, and then it's on top of a sapling. And it was not connected to a, because I looked up there, but it was not connected to like a timber fall or a branch. Okay, and then the next one, there's a little, this one's really cool. Look at this one. It's just propped up there.
Is there any directional commonalities with these? Like pointing in like northeast or toward the river? I've heard they put teepees around rivers.
Yeah, so the river is right down the hill. On the next, let's see, the next picture, that one, down the hill right there to in the not in the foreground, but further down, the river's down there. So, I mean, I don't know what the theories are. I kind of believe that it's to, could be to drive game. Could be communication. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'm going to keep on looking.
You should talk to Zeus Platt or Pratt. Platt? I know the guy. I don't know his name. Hang on. Platt. Zeus Platt. He's from Colorado.
Okay.
And he scouts them. He just hangs out, lives up in the cabins up there and just knows where to follow and gets sign and everything. And he saw a lizard man
Dog
one
says
time.
When soft pines. Oh, really? When soft pines fall in the woods, they break. Yeah, of course. They do.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
I wonder if pine bark beetles are as big a problem as they were 25 years ago. It used to be a big thing. You would climb up in a pine tree to go hunt and you look and the thing be dead.
Oh
I gotta
yeah, we have a lot of beetle kill where I live. Yeah, the pine beetle. It's
Yeah.
caused a lot of devastation in our forest for sure. Yeah.
Just don't hear about it as much. I don't know if maybe they just don't talk about it or what.
We have a huge problem with it out here. So yeah, and I mean we do have a lot of pine kill from that. So yeah, when you're out looking for this stuff, you definitely. I'm like, salty dog. You missed the part where I said that I pretty much eliminate like most of these as just natural, because it's snowfall, it's wind, it's the elements, it's dead trees. Like there's a lot. But there are, like, if you want to look, that sheet I sent you, there's some, the cryptid sheet. So there are some channels out there that, and I'm wondering, because you mentioned this guy, Zeus.
Yeah. Project Sasquatch.
I wonder if I referenced one of his videos, but anyway, he's definitely gets out there deeper into the woods, and he's got he found an area in Colorado that is, it's just undisputable. It's crazy. I'm going to look at that up and see which.
Hey, Salty, you know that I recently met MK Davis. I don't know if we talked about that. I can't see. Salty Dog appeared. He came to me from another channel that I just help out on. I help out on. And they're very crude over there, which is cool. I don't care, but you have to ignore them sometimes. Here, check this out. I don't know if I showed it. There's me and MK, and look right behind his head. Who's that? That's his thing.
Oh wow.
Yep. And he and I are going to be at a conference in South Alabama. He's going to speak, and I'm going to do a live podcast. Me and MK
nice.
Davis. Just a couple of guys hanging out,
Oh, that's awesome. So this is in Alabama?
Is it? This was in McMinnville, Tennessee. It's between Alabama state line and Nashville, about halfway.
Oh, okay.
It's like only took me like an hour to get there. I'm right. Huntsville's right at the state line. He had there was giant pictures. He had them in front of his booth there, and I walked up to meet him because when I'm in podcast mode, I'm usually an introvert that's scared. I'm in podcast mode. I'm meeting every single person. Like I'm leaving everything on the field. It changes me like molecularly, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when I'm in it. And so I walked, but I still have like a shy stutter, and I misspeak a lot. So I'm trying to get just my words out, especially meeting somebody who's famous.
Right.
And I was like, hey, I was talking to my daughters. I said, this is the one that they enhance with AI. And he stopped. He goes, you just say it was enhanced with AI? I'm like, no. I meant like it was enhanced with it was enhanced, not AI, but it was just enhanced with a computer. He goes, you mean a filter? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I didn't mean to say. I was like, shit. I pissed off MK Davis.
Yeah, don't do that. All right. So on the sheet, we have the videos that I uploaded. And these are, I'm looking at this right now. They're specifically Colorado. The famous one that came out was it last year about the train. Yeah, the train. That one's kind of fun. But the one that
I had a freaking dollar for every time somebody sent me that one.
Oh my gosh.
It's a dude in a suit.
The second from the bottom. Oh no, wait. Sorry, guys. Bigfoot rips through forests. I'm looking for the one of the guy that just went on a hike. Oh, here we go. It's line 13. Do you see that?
Yeah. Pull it up here.
It's Colorado Sasquatch Structure Tour. This was just over July 4th. So this is just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God, it's Duffy.
Do you know this person?
Yeah. I had to. Yeah, it's Duff.
On the video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you know this. You know him.
He told me I was the He told me I was a pimple on the ass crack of the Bigfoot community.
Oh, nice. That's a great
He
compliment.
said, when I tell you, I laughed. Now, he used to come. He used to come on here all the time,
Oh, okay.
and he
Okay.
got mad at me because he kept cussing out all the guests, and I had to ban him.
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm like, dude, I don't want to ban you. You're giving me algorithms, but good, you can't be mean.
No, 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 no. Oh, it's Zolando Brown's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday.
How old Zalando? Zalando?
Zolando?
That makes me hungry. That name makes me want something to eat. I don't know why. Yes, I'll have one shredded beef Zalando Brown, please. I don't know why. It sounds like a menu item.
It's happy birthday. So yeah, anyway, so those are and then I was gonna read off this one.
That's pretty cool though. This is a list. This is
I
like
know,
you could like
right?
kill some time with this.
I know. Look
These
at
aren't
copying and pasting. All right, so I have one Class A I'm gonna read off. And this is from
Oh, it's in my ear. Okay, sorry. YouTube videos playing loud.
This is from the BFRO website. And as everyone knows, they've got a pretty good collection. The problem is finding other ones. They are out there other than on BFR as far as reports. But this was a Class A. It was submitted in February 13th, 2013. Motorists see tall, hairy, human-like figure wading across the Colorado River east of Glenwood Springs. So this is really close to my area. Yeah. It was in winter, which is surprising. 15 miles east of Glenwood Springs, Colorado. And then the observation is they were traveling west on I-70. And if anybody knows I-70, it's a pretty big highway and there's a lot of traffic on I-70. It's a very heavily traveled highway. So that's why I thought that one was just really unique because I mean, like, who else saw it, right?
Yeah, those roadside crossings. I always think of that when people talk about sealing on the road. Like, who else saw? Like, is there another guy out there that just won't tell his friends and family what happened?
Right. There's so many roadside crossing. It's really fascinating. Yeah, really strange. But this one was, I'm assuming if it was winter, it was about dusk, so it was about 5 o'clock. They were just watching the river, and it says they noticed something tall, thin, and hairy walking in the middle of the river. It was slightly leaning forward, and its arms were swinging. We just saw it for a few seconds as we were traveling at highway speeds. We commented to each other that as strange as it seems, it was a Bigfoot. There were 4 witnesses total. We were traveling west on I-70, dusk, about 10 degrees outside, which is about that's about typical for that time of year, right?
Yeah, it's one of those major. It's like one of those major interstates. I bet that is a busy one.
It's
one of the main ones.
It's so noisy and loud and huge. So yeah, and then they followed up with a BFRO followed up with a witness investigation. So they were on their way to Nevada to play golf, which is a great thing to do if you're you're stuck in the winter in Colorado. Go play golf. Yeah, said it was very odd, simply too cold to be a human walking in what certainly must have been freezing river water. And I know that stretch of river is very deep right there. Even in the winter, when of course the snow melt's all gone from the summer and it's, the water level's clearly low, but you would probably lose your foot if you could even walk in it. No one would be walking in that. And there in that part of the river, there are a lot of pockets of deep pools of water, which they help sustain the trout population out there. So it's not only is it a huge rafting community through that section of river, but also it's a lot of fisherman's paradise out there. So there's a lot of deep pockets of water, and you just would not be walking out. It's a it's a dangerous river.
That's native trout out there too.
Yeah. Brown. Rainbow. I don't know about rainbow. It's probably mostly brown. Yeah.
My dad's obsessed. We'll go to Montana in a second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's also bear out there that time of year. I don't know if a guy wants to be wandering around
in Montana.
No, in just like Colorado, bear.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of bear right now. In the winter, they're usually hibernating. Then there's a follow-up update to this same Class A report. It says, I'm an avid duck hunter in the Dotsero area where this report was seen. At 5 p.m. on that date, the sun was going down and beginning to make things at a distance look like dark figures. This one, I don't know if this is like a... Oh, he says, my group had never seen anything close to the resemblance of a print in the area in snow, mud, or in river. The area said to be explained as not ankle deep, although at that time there were 3 duck hunters in the area at that time. We were crossing the Colorado River on an ice shelf to scout a new hunting area for the next week. And so I believe that we were on the river hunting the same time. This is the first time I've read this. So he's actually discounting this, saying that, we think we were the duck hunters. So, hey, there goes to show, like not everything is a squatch.
Like somebody commented that they were the people they saw.
Yeah, they think that they were. Yeah, so that's funny. That's funny that I printed that one.
Yeah.
But that's just how it works, right? So, and I think that's part of it is being discretionary. Like, yes, you can report something and you can think you see something, and then that's how this works. Like if you're not willing to like take a hit and say, that we think that was us, and who knows if it was or not, but I just think that's interesting. But it's also good that they're reporting those because that's part of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Because you want to eliminate anything because the first thing they're going to try to do is debunk you anyway.
Absolutely.
If you can debunk yourself, that's like self-imposed sanction.
Right.
Like a football program, you just like cut their own scholarships after some kind of infraction.
Yeah.
The guy I know, his name is Johnny Tucker. He's from North Carolina, and he saw a roadside sighting real close. But he said when he saw it, another truck passed it right before he got to it. I'm like, who is in that other truck? Like, what story is he telling right now? Like bro, there's a Bigfoot on the side of the road.
Did he get any footage or?
No, he did a reenactment, but I think he was just driving. I that's actually one of the episodes I have. Probably says North Carolina Bigfoot, Johnny Tucker.
Oh, okay.
He's legit. He's a good one. Like some of the guys I talk to, I go back and I'm like, man, what was I thinking? I'm so young and dumb, just talk to anybody. He's one of the ones I consider one of the better ones. My favorite one, I found out that the person had some issues and wait, that's actually a good question. Microdosing.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I know that it's legal in Colorado now. I think there's a lot of research into that. And they're doing a lot of research on PTSD and trauma and chronic depression, and they're doing a lot. I think they're doing a lot of research on veterans and using it as a therapy technique in a controlled environment. But I think that's more like the hero dosing. As far as microdosing, I'm not really sure.
Hero dose.
Yeah, they do massive doses. And has she tried it to enhance her clairvoyant capabilities? No comment.
Hey, that
was a long time ago. I haven't done it recently.
I like Rogan a lot just because of some of the way he thinks outside the box. But his little hypotheses on how mushrooms were probably a lot to do with how we evolved into humans is kind of cool. How it opens up all those brain waves. I don't know. I can't do it for my job, but podcast kicks off. I'll be like Willie Nelson. You wait, it's gonna get bad. I'm gonna go braids. I'm gonna like Magnus Walker. I'm gonna have beads in my hair.
Joe Rogan, he did you see his comedy special?
Oh yeah.
The other day. Oh, so good. Yeah.
Dude,
he spent the first 20 minutes talking about aliens and UFOs and UAPs, and I thought Go Joe.
Yeah, he
looks so
what's he gonna
awesome.
cancel him? The man's worth $100 million.
He can do whatever he wants.
Everybody likes him, and they anything they can. Oh, this is Wendell. He's from Alabama. He has something called the ghost roast. When he was younger, and maybe not even when he's younger, but recently, they come home and it smells like somebody's cooked a full meal in their house, and nobody's cooked anything. And he thinks and it's haunted.
He's saying he has the smell of a cake
cook
in his home.
Yeah. Like anytime we see him, he comes to all our Bigfoot conventions and stuff, calling the ghost roast. There's Wendell, ghost roast.
Well, my question is, did anyone else smell it, or was it just for you?
Now, I know the roast, other people smelled it.
Oh, like the roast?
Yeah, roast and beans. And I'd be so mad if I walked in and smelled all that and nobody was cooking.
Right.
I would throw punches.
Yeah,
I would get a Ouija board out. I would open a portal to hell and I would fight somebody.
Open a portal.
Oh my God. Like you want to roast something? I'd roast that ass. Starving. Come home smelling ham, ain't no ham.
Monica is growing on me. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I would probably take out a restraining order immediately.
I don't know what that means.
Call the police.
I had a cake cooking. Yeah, that's my question for prospecting USA Hunting America's Treasure. Did anyone else smell the smell? Because a lot of times with psychic experiences, they're just for you and no one else can smell it. And so that's how you know. Like I've walked into rooms before and I had like a smell of smoke or a perfume or whatever. And like, hey, do you smell that? And I'm like, no, I don't smell anything. I smell nothing. And so I think it's interesting. Who's to say, right? That's
a similar hypothesis to people. Some people can see Bigfoot and some people can't. Like they appear to each person individually. Like documentarian Greg Ogles, he said his cameraman couldn't see the orbs that everybody else around him could.
Oh.
And he said they were just everywhere and they couldn't see them. And so it was like tripping everybody out. Like, why can't you see these?
That's interesting.
Kassoon, he's from Sri Lanka. What's
Oh, interesting. Paul Stamets. Oh.
All my viewers and listeners are like up way early in the morning. Shows you what kind of people I draw with.
Different people. Oh, when I was a kid, we used to rent a beach house on I don't know how to pronounce it. Edisto Beach, South Carolina. Different people over the years saw a Confederate soldier ghost and swear by it to this day. That's interesting. There's a lot of history on the East Coast, I think, from wars, battles, and it's really interesting.
I was in a basement in Savannah, Georgia once, and my wife saw a soldier appear next to me.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't see him. And I'm like, why would you tell me that?
Why did you have to tell me that? Exactly.
She can see ghosts.
Could you tell me later?
It was minutes. She said it appeared for like 2 or 3 seconds next to me and then just went away.
Wow.
And it's the same basement that the guy down there with us told us that Zach Bagan faked a possession down there.
Oh, he did, really? Interesting.
Yeah. And he was
I wonder about those guys. Their show has gotten. I mean, I used to love to watch them, and now it's just gotten so kind of cheesy. We can jump into that paranormal. I was actually looking up before we started. So I've done 3 investigations, and they were just group investigations. Sure. One of them was in Ybor City at the Cuban Club. I don't know if anyone has ever been there, but it was really fascinating. Fun. Yeah.
They had tapas.
Well, it was interesting because they had the way that they had the investigation set up. They had different areas, and if I'm remembering this right, there was I might be getting these mixed up, but I think there was a basement area that this little boy who was kind of living in this hotel, in this Cuban club or whatever. He was living in this hotel, and he would travel when he was alive. He would travel back and forth between, I think part of it, if I'm remembering this right, there was a brothel on one side, and they would have like a secret entrance between the brothel and the hotel for the people who were staying there. And they would go down this tunnel and go do the things that you do when you go to a brothel. And there was a little boy that belonged to one of the workers, one of the sex workers there. And so he, yeah, anyway, so apparently he is still sticking around there. And part of the investigation was they had a little ball, and apparently he likes to play with the little ball when they do investigations. And so the ball moved. It was really interesting during that one.
That's when that stuff happens.
Yeah.
We were in what was called the body chute of the South Pittsburgh Hospital. And my friend had on the SD session. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Blindfold and headphones, holding the spirit box. And if no one knows what that is, just look it up. SD session. Spelled like it sounds. And he starts talking, and he says 14 people in the room. Sure enough, 14 people in the room. And then another group walks in. He said 5 more people just walked in. That group left. It said 5 people left. I'm like, what the? Like, you can't fake that. I mean, dude doesn't know who's in there. Like, I'm just relaying the message. I'm standing at the end of the body chute. He's in the body chute, and I'm just relaying it to the room that has like the cat balls going. The only thing you see is the cat balls, a little laser grid.
Well, the lights and the electronic phenomena is really interesting, because this other investigation I did was in Arkansas, in Eureka Springs. And I think it was the Crescent Hotel. It might have been another one. I was looking this up earlier, and I can't really remember. There's 2 hotels there. We might have gone into both of them, but they gave us, I was dowsing. They gave me the dowsing rods, and those were really interesting because they were just working right away for me. It might have just been my, I'm pretty connected anyway, so they just worked very well.
Had hot hands.
But they also had these flashlights put on, and you would just interact with the spirits there, and they would turn the lights to red, to green, to blue, and they would change the colors when you asked them. It was really interesting. Yeah, that one was really cool. And then the other one I did was actually in Scotland, and this was quite a few years ago. But I did like the touristy haunted tour or whatever. And we went down into the dungeon tunnels, basically. And apparently a lot of people died down there during the fires. And you can just feel it. It's really interesting when you go over to Europe and to England and you experience some of these things, because the energy is really different than it is over here. It's not only are you surrounded by all this history, which is fascinating, but the energy just feels so much more. It's very heavy, very, very heavy energy. And so
probably a lot of layers to it too. So old.
It's very ancient. Yeah. So there's a lot of energy. And at the time that I went there, this was a long time ago. And I hadn't really stepped into my gifts yet. I was still kind of like curious and kind of open to it, playing around with it a little bit, but not really understanding a lot of it. And so I think maybe if I went back now, I'd really be able to connect a little bit better. But I was touched in there. And then so that was really interesting. And then I have been touched before, and I have had a lot of lived paranormal experiences that have just grown and grown over the years. And it's really interesting. So, and I think that talking about like how long I've been able to experience this, and that my growth into being a medium probably started when I was a child. And it's interesting because you look back on it now as an adult in my 50s, and I can look back on these experiences that I was having as a child, and now I recognize them for what they were. But at the time, it was like, I'm a kid living in a farmhouse, and why am I scared of this particular part of the house? Why do I feel like this painting is talking to me? Why do I feel like there's something, an entity in this house? Why, like, why am I scared? And now I can understand what it was. And then as I got older, I had different experiences in my life that helped open me up to becoming more connected, and then not seeing it as a scary thing. Because at first I was scared, like, oh, this is happening to me. I'm seeing these things. It just got really crazy for a while. And then finally, when I started to train and understand how to work with it, I wasn't scared anymore. And I understood that it's a gift, and that you work to support people that are living and help them process grief. And that's what it's really about. And being a light worker is about supporting people who are going through the grief process. And every time I give a message to someone who's really struggling after they've lost someone, to whatever way they've lost someone, you can feel their energy shift immediately, and you can see them just swallow their grief and begin to be okay with it. And it's such an uplifting thing and process to see. And for anyone saying, oh, you people are just faking it and trying to make money off, I don't charge any money. I just do it because I'm working in the service of people to help them. And if they want it, like, whatever, occasionally I make a little bit of money. It's definitely not worth my time. It's not, and there are definitely people out there making a lot of money at it. And sure, I mean, you definitely have to be, like, whatever job you do, you should be compensated for your time, because it's a lot of work, and there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. And maybe I should charge money. I don't know.
I've never understood the whole downside of somebody charging money for something. I guess if it's something that you could accuse it of being fake, maybe is the asterisk there.
Well, I think it's funny. People say, oh, well, you're just looking someone up on the internet. And it's like, I don't have time for that. Like, what? I don't care, and
you gonna run a people search real quick. Hang on.
Yeah. Let me, and it's funny. What I think with that sort of thing is, you're just not in the space to be open enough to that. And that's just not for that person. And that's fine, but yeah, I just like to help people and help them process, because losing, like, especially if you lose like a significant partner or something like that, I mean, like, it's really hard to deal with that and to make meaning of it. And I don't like that word, grief work, because it's not work. It's part of your journey, and dealing with grief, and learning to make peace with it, I think, is a better way to say it, is part of our personal growth. And so the mediums that are out there that are doing this kind of support are really amazing, valuable people, and they're just gems. And I guess there's my rant.
Like, dadgummit, we're not faking it. Unless you're one of the Chris or John Edwards cold readers, which I hate.
Oh, what? Oh, I don't even know what that is. What, John Edwards?
Remember from the early 2000s, there was the cold readers where they would just get in an arena. Like, somebody here has somebody with a G. I mean,
platform readers. Well, so that's really a thing, and it's definitely a skill that you can learn to do. And I always say, like, if you're a medium and you're not training to develop your skill, then you've kind of gotten stagnant. So, I mean, like, that's one aspect that people can do. I think it's part of growth, right? So, like, I just signed up for a another mediumship training that starts in September. I'm really excited about it. And I kind of have like a community of like-minded people. And so it's just such a good group of people, like, we just kind of support each other. And so
how often is the I've noticed I had two of my grandparents I was really close to die within a few months of each other. And I kind of took it as I almost analyzed the situation just because I wasn't, you know how when someone dies, you're not sad about it.
It takes a while. Yeah.
But you're when they pass away, you're not really sad because they did it, because you knew it's a better place. And you kind of already knew it was coming for a while.
Yeah.
I feel bad about that, because that's kind of how I was about both of them. And I was, you're sad about it, but then I kind of just analyzed the stuff that happened afterwards. Like for the first week to 3 weeks, like they were like coming to me in radios like all the time.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I woke up, like I had this song that I thought represented my grandfather in my mind, and I kept waking up. It happened like for a week straight. Every couple of days, that song would be the song playing on the radio when my alarm went off. And one time it was a version of the song I never heard. I was like, what are you digging up mixtapes now? What is this?
Yeah, it's cool. It's so cool how they can do that. I mean, and like the synchronicities, I think everyone has these. People just have a hard time talking about them. So like for me, I lost my brother back in 1997, and he was killed by a drunk driver. And for me, that event, even though it was tragic and I lost him, and it really helped open up my connection to those that I've crossed and helped me grow. And he still pops around and he leaves me feathers everywhere. Whenever I'm thinking about him, I'll find a feather on the ground. And that's just like our little communication. So I think a lot of people have those synchronicities. Like you heard songs, right? That's so cool. It's kind of like, it's that living permanence of, hey, I'm still here. I'm here.
Like,
yeah.
My grandmother leaves me her phone number a lot. Like when I'm having like a tough time thinking about something, like I'll see her phone number. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I know that's going to work out great. And like, I don't even, it's like the angel, like I'm so in tune to it. I don't even think anything about it. Well, okay, that's going to be fine. There's that number. Sometimes it's all the last 4. Sometimes it's the last 3.
I remember you talking about this with Brandoline. About the numbers, the angel numbers.
Well, one of my jobs is to give out. Damn it! I'll show it. Okay. The salty dog guys ruining my podcast. But anyway, but I give out. I was like an audiovisual technician, and I give out numbers, for people that want to schedule a conference. It's part of my job.
Oh,
and the moment I say it was the moment my grandmother died from 50 miles away. The number that thing generated for someone was her phone number.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
I'm talking within a minute. My dad texted me, "Hey, your grandmother passed away." I was like, I knew it. I felt it. That was crazy.
Oh, wow.
See,
that's
happened like within a minute. Yeah. Like it was just seconds.
So do you see those numbers again, those same numbers? Do you see them keep popping up, or?
I got one number that just means it's like my base angel number. And then like, it'll just appear like, just to kind of, someone described it as like a dog who's doing dog things that hears the click and it reminds it to get back into what it's doing. It's kind of like that. Like if I start freaking out, I'll start seeing them a lot, which I've learned to calm it a lot lately, just to start trusting.
So you think it's like a reminder to,
this is okay.
Like, calm down. It's okay. We got you. Yeah.
Oh, I can almost set my clock by it sometimes. But then I'll see, I don't put as much weight into the 444 kind of things, 333. But when something like that happens, and a lot of the times if I'm supposed to notice the triple angel numbers, like the kind everybody talks about, it'll appear next to that number in some fashion. Like it'll be on the side of a bus, but the license plate will have my angel number on it. I'm like, okay, now what does that mean?
Oh, that's interesting.
And then the first time I noticed this particular phenomenon, I was with my friend Kevin, and I saw it above his shoulder because he was driving. And I noticed the angel number down here and the 3-digit one up here. And then later on that day, we walked down the hall, and I looked, and above Kevin's shoulder on the TV, it was 333 down here. And I'm like, what does Kevin 333 got to do with it? I was like, because one of my visualizations includes Kevin to just like make my manifestation come true. I was like, okay, I guess it's going to be good one of these days.
So
I just started I'm just kind of let it flesh out. I think you can trust if you start noticing them. One of the gurus said it's like 3 to 6 months until you start noticing them, and then you'll start being able to read them.
Oh, that's interesting.
It took me about 10 years. But
I know this is kind of funny, but I see 420 everywhere. I don't know. I mean,
have you looked it up?
Well, we all know it means,
Yeah,
smoking weed, but I don't really smoke. I don't smoke weed. So, I just think it's interesting.
I heard it's nice.
Every time I've done that, I just end up paranoid. And so no, thanks. Okay. So, but every time I see it, that number, something significant happens. And so, and I haven't quite figured out what it's related to. Anyway, numbers are fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's probably enough people writing about angel numbers that you can look it up and make some correlations between it. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Mine evolved. It was one for a while, and then it evolved into my main one that I use now. That it doesn't. It means, I guess it means what it means, but also means like chill out to me as well.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the bat symbol. Like, dude, stop. It's okay.
Maybe it's your team just saying, "Hey, calm down."
It's kind of like when like a kid with a toy. Like, here, just come.
Right.
It's gonna be okay. Here's a cheese stick. Also, my angel number is a cheese stick.
A cheese stick. It's like the number one. That's the number one, though, right? It's a cheese stick. It's 2 cheese sticks. It's 11.
Mm-hmm. And what was I going to say? I forgot. But yeah, like I'll see them next to each other. I'll see them on a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest ones is when I'm not even in that zone, and they start appearing like gangbusters. Like, what the fuck is about to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not even signaling this, and it's happened on the way to work about a half a dozen times since I started working where I'm at now, and I'll see them I'm talking about 3 cars in a row. We'll have it, and then it'll be somewhere else and somewhere else. I get to work, something will break, and I'm like, well, that's what this was about. And so I'll just chill out and I'll try to figure out what it was, and it'll fix within a few minutes. But I guess it's telling me like something bad's about to happen. Calm down. It's gonna be all right. Just write it out, and it's happened. I mean, it's 100. That's 100% when that happens.
Have you ever added all the numbers together and then looked that number up?
Like 8? Yeah, 8. It's like a base number of 8. It's yeah. That's just that was weird. But what was I saying? Yeah, my last angel number was I was freaking out about a job I was going to have, so I came home and I took a shower and I sat on the couch. I said I'm just going to watch. Something told me to watch Last Crusade because I had it in my mind, have I chosen this job wisely? And something told me to watch that because it came to my head. And I watched
Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm. Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And at one point, like I'm watching this in a crisis situation. Like I'm like, is this job going to fall through? Am I screwed? And have I chosen wisely? Something told me to watch this movie. At one point, Indiana Jones is crawling on the ground, and he comes up next to a car, and over his shoulder is that angel number on a license plate.
That's synchronicity for sure.
Yeah. And then fast forward this year earlier, for some reason I've been watching Back to the Future a lot lately. I don't know why. It's the perfect movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later. That's perfect. It's got something for everybody. The same thing happened on the DeLorean with the new angel number. When he's shifting to 88 miles an hour in the first thing, and it shifts to that odometer, my whole angel number is on there.
Oh wow!
And in the same sequence that it was from Last Crusade. See, the Last Crusade had SS because it was a Nazi car, and then a space, and then it had the number 07. And then Back to the Future said 3300, and then the number 07. It's just the only thing was replaced was the number, the middle. It was like I got it on my vision board.
Huh.
I was like, this is weird.
Do you have a like an electronic vision board, or do you have a, like a physical?
I used to have a physical one. And it just got in the way because it was a giant poster board.
Oh yeah. I've got a physical one. Yeah.
It became more of a get this damn thing out of the way so I can see the mirror. And it wasn't really helping. I manifested like 4 or 5 things on it.
Oh, nice.
Actually, but this is just like some things that I'll go through and slides.
This is an interesting thought. I think that Pinterest is kind of like a vision board.
Mm-hmm. Some people use it.
I mean, and I know you can click each tile or whatever, and it takes you to a website, or somebody's trying to sell you something. If you look past that, it's kind of like a vision board in a way, because you can create different collages of things that you want to manifest or have in your life, or a project that you're working on, or something that you want to see. Like, you can have one for gardening and have like different flowers and different structures you want to build in your garden, and different, like using old tires for planters, like they're like you could pick any topic and create like a little vision board. And I think that that's really interesting that we have these apps now. Electronic. Right. And what is it? What is this stuff? It's energy, right? It's ones and zeros, and it's energy. And so we're kind of manifesting that through this little app. And it's interesting.
Well, did you see you saw that Brandoline episode, the mini documentary I made before it about the gateway process the CIA released?
Oh, the gateway process. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Have you done that?
I mean, just the pieces of it. I haven't ever had an out-of-body experience. I don't try for that. That's terrifying.
That is an interesting rabbit hole for sure. And how they use that for remote viewing, right? And it's really interesting. And a lot of things came off of that too, like HemiSync. And I use HemiSync for certain meditations, like for focus, or you can use HemiSync for a lot of different things. It's not always like out of body astral travel or whatever, but you can also use it for like focus, for studying, and some other things. But it's interesting, all of the research that they did into that. And I haven't really dove into that. And it seems a little weird. It
makes you wonder. The part that got me was the thoughts into a particle. And then it said, be careful not to rush the bigger your goal, or it'll make your reality screw up, which is the bridge of incidents basically explained. Like, you want to go kind of slow, because if you wish for something too crazy too fast, then somebody will have to get hit by an 18-wheeler, and you'll make like $50 million that way. But it basically explains this. Like, I call it the monkey's paw. Anytime I'm manifesting something big, I say, I don't want no monkey's paw.
And doesn't that go back to what we talked about in the beginning about manifesting bite-sized amounts, and not trying to do the big thing? And Kate, he just asked, do you guys think binaural beats really work? I believe they work for some people for sure.
And I don't know what it is. So
it's there's one tone at a hertz. I can't remember. I'm not very good at this, but anyway, so there's one tone in one ear. You have to use headphones, and then the other tone is just a little bit off in the other headphone side of your head, and it causes entrainment in the sound. And we also use this in sound healing. And there's been a lot of evidence to show that. So I just got into sound healing, and I'm do crystal sound bowls now, and I'm doing that as some healing work. And they're showing that the the sound has the ability to heal on a physical level, and they're doing a lot of research into it, and it's fascinating for sure. And not only does it just sound amazing when you're doing a sound healing, it's pretty cool stuff. But binaural beats. Yeah, binaural beats. There's a lot of videos out there. I think it's certainly worth a shot trying. And Professor YouTube out there has so many interesting videos. You can do, I think with the Professor YouTube. The binaural beats, they're just, you can try out meditations, 15-minute meditation or whatever with the binaural beats. And apparently it's helpful. Yeah. But, I think it's worth a shot. Some things work for some people and some things don't. So, yeah.
It's really in all that you're willing to believe. So I figured out. So if you believe it, you can make it happen. That's so we'll go. I'll go ahead and try to wrap it up. But I wanted to hear about you going to Phenomecon.
Oh yeah,
my publicist recommended it. I'm like, it's in Utah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And if anyone's interested, please check out the website. They keep adding speakers, and I got my tickets back in May. I think there are tickets still available. It's a 4-day conference. The events that I booked, I actually have to read this off. I am so stoked.
Are you going as a VIP, like a speaker, or just?
I could not get a VIP ticket. So maybe I got a regular ticket, but I'm going to be there for 3 days. But how it works is you buy the ticket for the event. You can also do like a 1-day ticket. It's in Vernal, Utah. You get to add on activities, and there are some activities that are still available. I'm doing a behind-the-scenes dinner with the cast of Skinwalker Ranch. I'm doing an escorted trip to the perimeter. Hell yeah! Escorted trip to the perimeter of Skinwalker Ranch with Thomas and Dragon. I'm doing a VIP.
Goes off like Elvis Presley.
Oh my god! VIP dinner with Tony Merkel from the Confessionals.
Okay, now I'm just jealous of you.
I know. Funny. I'm doing a VIP lunch with George Knapp, a rocket launch with the cast of Skinwalker Ranch, and I don't know if I added any more activities, but the list of speakers are incredible. I mean, just incredible. So they have the cast of Finding Bigfoot is going to be there. Most of their stuff is on Wednesday, September 4th. And then they have like the Skinwalker Ranch guys. They have Travis Taylor is going to be there. Nick Pope is going to be there. Eric Bard.
James Taylor's from here.
Oh, is he? Yeah,
he's just down the road.
Oh, yeah. James Keenan. David Paulides. What else?
Was it you that was telling
Aaron
me? I
Sagers.
think we talked about this, didn't we? And you said that it might have been you or Kelly Schaefer. And saying that she hopes you get to actually talk to him and they're just not across the cafeteria from him.
Oh, I think that was me. Yeah. Well, George Knapp, I was really excited about George Knapp. And I was saying, I hope that it's not just me eating lettuce and like staring at him, and hopefully I can actually meet him and talk to him. But
we got another celebrity in the chat right now. Ernie Pack, Fort Duffield, paranormal legend.
Ernie
Mr.
Pack.
Mr. 502 himself. You'll have to watch his episode that I have on him. Epic episode. Yeah. Ernie's one of those guys when you meet him. Ernie's like an instant best friend, even if he thinks it or not. Me and Ernie are best friends.
Awesome.
Did we just become best friends? Yep. Ernie. I hide out in front of Ernie's house at night. He doesn't even know I'm there. He thinks I'm a ghost.
Perfect.
Ernie lives in a haunted house, and I don't. It's not Fort Duffy. What's your house called, Ernie? Good God, I can name it off any other time. But in the middle of the night, every night, somebody runs up the stairs and screams, "Are they there yet? Are ready yet?"
Oh, really? In the house?
Night, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's something called the Inn. Goodness, I am stroking out. I guess I'm going to go to bed soon. But his wife Denise told us one time that they were so tired one night. He said, "Shut up, nobody's ready yet," and they said didn't make a noise the rest of the night.
Oh,
yeah,
wow!
I was trying to say Diffie End, Fort Duffield Ditto House. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
He has history with another
Ditto
famous.
House Inn. Okay, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
You should. Fort
And where?
Duffield is I think
Where's
it's
that?
Kentucky,
Oh, Kentucky.
up north toward Louisville.
You know, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina. There's just so much activity. I don't even know what to call it.
It's ancient. It's the same kind of activity as like in Scotland because it's ancient because it's been there forever.
Yeah,
but not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's most haunted house, I believe.
Oh, okay.
They auction off nights to stay there.
Oh, really?
Raffle off.
That sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Imagine a guaranteed haunting.
That sounds
like,
frightening.
Like, gee, thanks.
I mean, just the ones that I went to, the 3 that I'd been to, I was like, I don't know if I'd want to spend my whole night in someplace.
So one of my goals, like next step, once I get to where I'm a podcaster for a living, is 5,000 or 5 to 1,000 hunting acres. And Kentucky's on my list because of how the geography is there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kentucky. Like I want one in Alabama, obviously, because it's my favorite state. But I just don't think that I'm going to find the quality of land that's not going to get taken up here. Kentucky, maybe farther out west. But I just want something with mountains, and Kentucky's got bigger deer than Alabama, so it's like a best of both worlds.
You should get in with Tony Merkel and do one of his.
I'd freaking love to.
Oh my gosh, because I mean, he did the Dogman film, and he just released another. He was filming in Utah. I think he's in Utah right now, and he's about to go to the conference next week. Mm-hmm. But they're filming one in Utah. He did the one, the Dogman that was Daniel Boone National Forest.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. But I think it's really cool that he's filming and he's just, it's kind of like what we were talking about. He's building this community of like-minded people. And that's kind of
mm-hmm.
like that's kind of my goal, is to build a community of like-minded people that really are passionate about this kind of stuff. And we just do mm-hmm. projects, and we just share, and we just exchange information, because like the little spreadsheet I gave you, there's so much information. It's daunting to try to put this stuff together. But if you work together with people and you combine all that energy, you can come up with some really, really good material, mm-hmm. right?
I think he does it about the best.
Oh, yeah.
He's because I'm not trying to be anybody, but you also got to go with what works. That's why workshops exist. And his format and stuff is kind of what I've always envisioned. Like you see, I kind of want to do that. Like I'm thinking of doing another rebrand pretty soon. I'm tossing around. One of the things, top of my head right now, I carry a book in my pocket. I put out ideas in. I'm like a freaking savant. Gotta write my idea down.
It's your vision board in your pocket.
Underwear at Kmart. And one of them's called it Unraveling the Other Side. And have AI make me a thing about a red string going to like Bigfoot and a red string going to Gigantopithecus. And
weren't we just talking about this? How it's all connected somehow. Yeah. It's an unraveling.
I want it to look like the Indiana Jones travel scenes. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. I want it to look kind of like that, but with the different science and paranormal things. But then, like his confessionals.
Oh yeah.
Logo, yep. Polydactyl.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be like off the top of my head, one thing is like a flashlight in the dark with a pair of eyes in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just on top of it. That's just me brainstorming while I'm walking to the bathroom at work. And I'll just write it down like a crazy person on the water fountain. Like, what's she writing on the water fountain?
The interesting thing about this is that we wouldn't be here if we weren't passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about this is that there is a connection between all of these things. We don't know what it is now, but it's kind of like a mystery. And I don't know about you, but I love a good mystery. And so every little piece that I put together, or every person that I talk to or interview on my podcast, it brings me closer to understanding this connection that we all have, and we all have something to offer. So it's really interesting, and I can see this community growing the more I dive into this, and it's God, I love it.
I think it's growing around the gate. It's growing around the gatekeepers too. A lot of gatekeepers.
Oh yeah.
And I think they're getting too big for their britches, and people are just like, I think it should be like, if you can handle growing in it, let them grow in it. If they fail because it's too much work, they fail. And don't push them down just because they might threaten your place. You get better. Don't get mad because someone's coming along with the same ambition.
Well, that's like with disclosure, the gatekeepers. And it's all for selfish reasons, whether it's protecting, like, okay, I get protecting our national security and protecting our trade secrets and our technology and everything, but I'm not convinced that we did that all on our own. And so now we have all this information and technology, and of course they're never going to give it up. Of course not. Nope. So that's why Greer just released his massive data set. Massive. It's going to take him pulling a White House lawn or something, or one escaping from a bunker. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds slowly, but I don't think it's going to come from our government. I think it's going to come from private individuals. And unfortunately, it takes money to do this kind of stuff. So yeah, we have to support them as much as we can.
They're trying to shut down Elon. He's trying to do it. Right. Support you, Elon. And now that I'm unmonetized, I'm going to end this podcast. And,
all right.
Monica, thanks for coming. Ernie, thanks for joining the chat. Thanks everybody in the chat. It's been a fun. I expected 40 minutes. We're 2 hours and 11 minutes in, and I wouldn't have any other way. Best decision ever to go live with this. This has been fun.
It's been super fun.
You got anything else to tell me? Come back on, because you're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
everybody.
Fun.
Hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. Peace.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.